The dumpster lid slammed shut with a metallic bang that echoed through the apartment complex courtyard. Lydia wiped her palms on her jeans and stepped back from the green metal container. Inside that tomb of garbage bags and pizza boxes sat her childhood Chucky doll. The same orange hair, the same striped shirt, the same dead plastic eyes that used to watch her sleep. Removing trauma triggers from your environment is the first step toward healing, her therapist had said during their session yesterday. You're 28 years old. You don't need a horror doll watching over your bed. The doll had landed face up when she tossed it. Those black eyes stared straight at the darkening sky like they were memorizing the coordinates of heaven or hell. Lydia turned toward the apartment building entrance. Each step felt lighter. 20 years of night terrors and sleep paralysis might finally end. 20 years of checking under the bed and behind curtains before she could relax. She reached for the door handle. Lydia. The voice drifted from the dumpster behind her. High-pitched, childlike, unmistakably calling her name. Lydia froze. Her hand trembled against the cold metal door handle. She glanced over her shoulder at the dumpster. Silent, still. Just a green rectangle filled with ordinary trash. Must have been a kid playing in the courtyard. She pulled the door open and climbed the stairs to her third-floor apartment. The hallway smelled like curry and cleaning supplies. Normal building smells, safe smells. Her apartment key slid into the lock with a satisfying click. Hours later, Lydia jerked awake in her bed. The digital clock glowed red in the darkness, but the numbers blurred together. Something had pulled her from deep sleep. Lydia? The whisper came from her living room. The same voice from the dumpster. Clear as a bell in the midnight silence. Her blood turned to ice water. She sat up in bed and strained to listen. The apartment building settled around her with creaks and distant footsteps. Normal night sounds. Lydia, come play with me. There it was again. Definitely coming from the living room. The same sing-song voice that used to wake her from childhood dreams. She grabbed her phone from the nightstand. The screen lit up her face in harsh white light. No missed calls, no text messages. The clock read past midnight. Maybe someone left their television on too loud. Sound traveled weird through these old walls. Lydia slipped out of bed and crept toward her bedroom door. The hardwood floor felt cold against her bare feet. She pressed her ear against the door and held her breath. Lydia, I know you can hear me. The voice was closer now, right outside her bedroom door. She turned the handle slowly and peered through the crack. Her living room stretched before her in shadow. Empty couch, empty coffee table, empty corner where the television sat, but muddy footprints tracked across her hardwood floor. Small prints, child-sized, leading from her front door in a straight line toward her bedroom. The mud was still wet. Dark brown clumps that smelled like rotting vegetables and spoiled milk, like garbage that had been sitting in the sun too long. Lydia followed the trail with her eyes. The prints stopped directly outside her bedroom door. Right where she was standing, she looked down at her own feet. Clean, no mud. The prints were on the other side of the door. Lydia, why did you throw me away? Morning came without sleep. Lydia sat at her kitchen table clutching a coffee mug with shaking hands. The muddy footprints had vanished with the sunrise, but the voice echoed in her memory. She called in sick to work, spent the day researching disposal methods for haunted objects. Salt circles, holy water, burning rituals. Everything sounded ridiculous in daylight, but when darkness fell, the voice returned. Lydia, I missed you today. She was washing dishes when it started, the same childlike tone drifting from her living room like an old recording playing on repeat. Lydia, come see what I brought you. Against every instinct screaming danger, she walked to her living room. A trail of crayon drawings led from her front door to the couch. Stick figures holding hands, a house with smoke curling from the chimney. A little girl with orange pigtails standing next to a shorter figure with wild hair. The drawings were signed in red crayon with two names, Lydia and Chucky. Do you remember making these? The voice asked from somewhere behind her. Lydia spun around. Nothing there, just shadows and empty space. We used to draw together every day after school. You said I was your best friend. The memory hit her like a physical blow. Age 6, sitting cross-legged on her bedroom floor, with crayons scattered around her. The Chucky doll propped against her pillow, watching her work. That was before, she whispered to the empty room. Before what, Lydia? Before you started moving on your own. Before you started talking back. Before Mom took you away and locked you in the basement. But I came back, the voice said with satisfaction. I always come back to you. A new drawing appeared on her coffee table. Fresh crayon marks, still shiny with wax. It showed two figures standing by a garbage dumpster. One was throwing the other inside. Why did you abandon me again? The voice asked. This time Lydia saw where it came from. The Chucky doll sat on her mantelpiece above the fireplace. Same orange hair, same striped shirt, same plastic smile. But its mouth was moving. I had to, Lydia said through chattering teeth. You're not real. You're just plastic and stuffing. I'm as real as your loneliness, the doll replied. I'm as real as your fear of being forgotten. The doll's head turned to face her directly. Lydia, say my name. The conversations became routine over the following weeks. Every evening at sunset, the doll would call her name. Every night, they would talk until dawn. Lydia found herself looking forward to these encounters, despite the terror they brought. Lydia, tell me about your day. She would sit on her couch, facing the mantelpiece where the doll had taken permanent residence. Its plastic features never changed, but somehow it managed to convey different emotions. Sympathy when she talked about work stress. Anger when she mentioned her sister's latest social media posts. Understanding when she cried about her mother's death. Nobody listens to me like you do, Lydia admitted during one of their late-night sessions. Nobody loves you like I do, the doll replied. Nobody will ever understand you like I do. The truth of those words scared her more than any supernatural manifestation. Lydia, I want to show you something special tonight. This was new. Usually their conversation stayed in the living room. But tonight the doll's voice led her to the bathroom mirror. Look at your reflection, the doll instructed. Lydia stared at herself in the mirror. Tired eyes, pale skin, hair that needed washing. Nothing unusual. Now look at me. The doll appeared in the reflection, standing on the bathroom counter behind her. But when Lydia turned around, the counter was empty. We're connected now, the doll explained from the mirror. Your loneliness called me back from the garbage. Your need gave me power. In the reflection, the doll smiled wider than plastic should allow. Every time you say my name, I grow stronger. Every time you answer when I call you prove that we belong together. Lydia tried to step away from the mirror, but her reflection didn't follow. It stayed frozen, staring at the doll behind her. "Lydia, say my name." She fought against the compulsion, but the word escaped her lips anyway. "Chucky." The doll in the mirror clapped its hands with delight. Again, "Chucky." Louder, "Chucky." With each repetition, the doll in the mirror grew more detailed, more lifelike, more real, and Lydia's reflection grew fainter. "Lydia, we're almost ready." The mirror became her prison. Each night, Lydia found herself trapped in the reflection while the doll grew stronger in the real world. She watched helplessly as it explored her apartment, touched her belongings, sat in her chair, and ate her food with tiny plastic hands that somehow manipulated objects. "Lydia, look what I can do now." The doll had learned to write. It left her notes on the kitchen table in childish handwriting. "Went to work for you today. Your boss thinks you're feeling better. Paid the rent. The landlord says hello. Called your sister. She's coming to visit tomorrow." That last note sent panic through Lydia's trapped consciousness. Vera couldn't see this, couldn't know what had happened. The family had enough tragedy without adding supernatural possession to the list. But there was nothing she could do from inside the mirror except to watch. Vera arrived the next evening carrying Chinese takeout and wearing a cautious smile. 2 years of silence had made her nervous about this sudden reconciliation. "You look different," Vera said as she set food containers on the dining table. The doll controlling Lydia's body smiled. "I feel different. More like myself than I have in years." They ate dinner while making small talk about jobs and mutual friends. The doll was good at mimicking Lydia's speech patterns, good at copying her mannerisms, but Vera noticed something was off. "Are you feeling okay?" Vera asked. "You seem kind of stiff." "Just tired," the doll replied, using Lydia's voice. From the mirror, Lydia screamed warnings that nobody could hear. After dinner, Vera excused herself to use the bathroom. The moment she was gone, the doll turned to the living room mirror, where Lydia was trapped. "She'll make a better body," it said with Lydia's mouth. "Younger, stronger, less damaged by therapy and medication." The bathroom door opened, and Vera returned to the dining room. "Lydia, why is there a mirror in your bathroom that doesn't show reflections?" The doll froze. "What do you mean?" "I mean, I looked in your bathroom mirror and saw nothing. Just empty silver glass. It's the weirdest thing." Vera walked to the living room mirror where Lydia was trapped. Her reflection appeared normally, but she could see Lydia's terrified face trapped in the glass. "Oh my God," Vera whispered. "Lydia? Lydia, is that really you?" The trapped consciousness nodded frantically. Vera spun around to face the thing wearing her sister's body. "What are you?" The doll dropped all pretense. Lydia's face twisted into an expression of pure malice. "I'm Chucky, and I'm tired of playing games." It lunged at Vera with inhuman speed, but she was ready. Years of self-defense classes kicked in as she grabbed a kitchen knife and slashed at the possessed body. The blade cut deep, but no blood flowed. Instead, orange stuffing spilled from the wound. "You can't kill what's already dead," the doll laughed with Lydia's voice. But Vera wasn't trying to kill it. She was trying to buy time to reach the living room mirror. "Lydia," she shouted at the trapped reflection, "say its name backwards." From inside the mirror, Lydia understood. The connection worked both ways. If saying the doll's name gave it power, then maybe reversing it would break that power. Lydia screamed from the mirror. The possessed body convulsed and stumbled backward. Each reversed syllable, the doll's hold weakened. Lydia felt herself being pulled back into her own body while something else was being pushed out. The Chucky doll materialized on the living room floor. Real, physical, writhing in apparent agony. Lydia, don't send me back, please. I just wanted someone to play with. For a moment she hesitated. The doll's voice sounded so small, so lonely, so much like her own inner child crying out for connection. But then she remembered the terror, the possession, the attempt to take Vera's body. Goodbye, Chucky. She picked up the doll and threw it in her fireplace. This time the flames burned normal orange. The plastic melted without forming screaming faces. The smoke smelled like any other burning toy. When it was over, nothing remained but a pile of ash and melted plastic. Vera helped her sweep the remains into a garbage bag. They drove to the city dump and watched the bag disappear into the compactor. Is it really over? Vera asked as they drove home. Lydia listened carefully to the silence in her apartment. No childlike whispers, no calls for attention, no desperate pleas for companionship. Just quiet. Yeah, she said finally. It's over. But late that night, as she prepared for bed, she could have sworn she heard a faint voice drifting from the city dump miles away. Lydia, I'll always find my way back to you. She closed her bedroom window and tried not to listen. The doll knew her name, and it would never stop calling.